Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Shank 2. Let's continue. We have 2 more levels to do, and it definitely would benefit, I think, to just burn through these as quickly as possible. Now we do have a bit of a choice here. Should I stick with the knives, which is overall useful, or should I go with more speed on pistols or more damage on shotgun? And since we don't have a clue who we're going to fight in this next level, it would be impossible to make any kind of informed decision. All we have is a name, the last resort, and a picture. Wouldn't it make a little bit more sense while you're selecting on this screen for there to be potentially an icon that shows the number of enemies and the types of enemies that'll show up? Even if they were going to just be in shadow and question marks on the first playthrough, it'd be very helpful on a potential second playthrough to know what you're up against instead of having to just guess. We at this point don't feel like we're going to unlock any new outfits until we beat the whole game. Would you see we are going all over the place as in kind of the Central American area, but even more so the number of like blonde.
Would you like a drink, sir?
Blonde, white-skinned people.
Code 33. We have a bogey on the boardwalk.
Is fairly high. Again, the idea of just more bikini-clad ladies is fairly high. It feels a lot like Archer. On a certain level, Archer, I think, does just succeed better at having this kind of mentality and this kind of roughness, where we have a whole second set of female enemies, which I'm a little surprised for as short as this game is, because it definitely feels like it could have just stayed with the cult people and not gone any further. Okay, so you can't throw knives up at these girls. In a lot of ways, an Archer video game wouldn't have been a terrible idea. It really wouldn't have been a bad move to potentially think about that, but at this point the FX animated series Archer is kind of all over the place, even in what its story is about. So like they put the main character in a coma after about 5 or 6 seasons, and so in these coma dreams they have entire seasons that are slightly different with the same characters being animated but in different environments, and
We got a problem down here. Send some more guys.
the different storylines. So undoubtedly, if you were going to make an Archer video game, it would be him playing the spy Archer in the early seasons, which was the more of the jerk version of Archer, because he as a comedic character, Archer, and he only makes sense if he is a childish jerk. As soon as you start to grow the character and evolve, you run into the problem of it losing the general premise and the joke of the whole thing. And to a certain level, that's exactly what happened. And the premise of Archer is too silly to really stand up to try to be a legitimate story.
We got a problem down here. Send some more guys.
Obviously, I am not particularly interested in the game itself, if I'm talking about Archer. And if you went the other direction, I think it also would have worked fairly well if Shank had been, after the first game, turned into a Adult Swim like or FX like adult cartoon. Even if you had tried to turn it into a comic book, that probably would have helped you a lot. This is particularly one of those levels that I think I would have struggled with if I wasn't. Maybe there's a Duke Nukem type aspect you could have done if you had enough levels and gameplay around this that would have made this work more. Part of the problem, I think, though, still comes from just managing expectations. And I feel like Shank doesn't quite establish itself as whatever it is going to be well enough to have the player understand it's comedy, and it's just too short of an experience anyways. Now we're back to more cultist-like characters, although once again we are very much just kind of at the edge of the screen. And they're not willing to go far enough around this and give more story, because it definitely feels like there's a chance that the cult is prostituting its members so to sleep with rich people to gain influence and power. Those spooky mannequins. You don't really need a ton of story. Like, one of the most favorite beat-em-up games out there is The Simpsons beat-em-up, and that really is just Maggie is kidnapped and you're trying to save her. Although, even by the time the Simpsons game had come out, interesting. Anatomy diagrams. Even by the time the Simpsons beat-em-up game had come out, there was a lot of seasons of The Simpsons. Again, we have a blur feature in the options, so I doubt there would have been a real blur. there might be a slight danger here in that they're depicting these little bomber guys as Irish, which, yeah, one way or the other, I mean, you could certainly play into the hurtful stereotypes over and over again in a game like Shank, since you're already doing that pretty much with Mexican characters, but yeah, it's dangerous to say the least.
Get up, you bums! Trouble is coming. Well, you're gonna have Who's that?
Let's just keep on trying to juggle. And see, this is a dead guy, so he seems to be trying to do a pounce on me as much as I've been abusing the pounces on other characters. Let's go up here first.
Trouble is coming. Get out of here!
Inevitably, it does feel like these big characters are just too dangerous to be left alone. You really do seem like they need to grab on them fairly quickly. That was a waste of grenade. Okay.
Well, you're gonna have to come up.
And these are like new characters in different outfits. So it seems like we just killed some extra characters there. Almost like that would be an extra thing or a storyline reason in which you would do that. Come on. I'm just hoping that I got a checkpoint before I die. And we found the kitchen sink. So there was an achievement / medal for killing somebody with the kitchen sink. And I imagine that's the only one in the entire game. Although there might be one that pops up in survival mode. This resort looks nice and all, but I don't know if it, like, I don't really know if it does what is necessary. Like, it does once again feel like we may just get trapped.
Who is this guy? Thank you so much.
I've got to kill, I think, just one person with the kitchen sink, but even a small average enemy probably will take 2 or 3 hits with it. Which at full health, I run a risk of dying here. There. We have now killed everybody. Killed one person with the kitchen sink. And see, now I'm about to die again. And while I'm targeting the people in the air, I just got defeated by the people on the ground. What you may be noticing here, though, is that there really isn't a lot of change up happening as far as gameplay styles or actions that I'm taking. I really am just doing the same things I would have been doing otherwise. It's just, oh, you're going to throw another 100 of these styles of enemies at me over the course of a level, and I'm just going to smash the X button or smash the Y button, and that will be that. And abuse the pounce as much as possible. Yeah, and I just got lucky, or the game decided to let me win with barely a sliver of health. And so I'll just hit a checkpoint and probably die. And see, I just drank a small alcohol and it filled half of my health, when really that would have been a large alcohol that would have done that. And so now we have more girls. And I guess you can decide whether or not all these characters are naked in the spa, or whether they're in swimsuits, or otherwise. I guess I'd have to pay really a close attention to like the silhouettes. I don't think I see any genitalia hanging down from between the legs of the male character, which would imply to me that at least the male character was wearing pants. And see, if you could go to the extreme with this, it is an interesting narrative storyline question. Would this be funnier showing the smogged out silhouette to begin with, and then revealing the brutality of a bunch of naked men and women being chopped up by Shank at the end? Or would it be funnier showing the full nudity to begin with and seeing body parts flop around like crazy? I think the reveal would be better at the end, to just have the fog clear. That would also feel more natural and make more sense. Of course, though, that would probably not get this game on consoles, and thus you have a level of censorship and compromise in what would be a funny joke. she is the absolute last character. I'm probably going to be dead. Maybe you could tease the idea of touching a boob or something like that while you were fighting. Also, see, you can see in the silhouette here, when we stand right about here, it starts to lighten up more. And I don't know if I can really tell. If anything, I would guess the female characters are probably being depicted nippleless and topless, and their entire bottom seems to be in silhouette. And then it seems to get blacked out even more. Or they could just be completely in silhouette. But that might also just be because they're dead. And the characters tend to be gray as far as the way they look after they've been defeated. And see, they're definitely going with that idea. Now you have nurses, or sexy nurses, or people pretending to be nurses.
Thanks, man.
It's questionable as to what is actually going on at this resort, though. Like, it's not making that particularly clear. Why are there so many people being taken to the resort and locked in rooms? And here we have more voice acting around just screaming in pain. Remember, these cars used to blow up.
Who is this guy?
Hidden medical facility. Maybe they are organ harvesting. I guess that would make sense. Yeah, I guess that would make a lot of sense, as if they were kidnapping people, harvesting their organs, and selling them. But that really should have been explained better.
Hold the gate. Call the reserve.
Explosion Man. There's a game called Explosion Man. I don't know if it actually is made by the same Play Entertainment, though. We're still getting the same old prompts. We can still pretty well abuse this. Come on. About to die. Man, even the first level, though, I really failed to succeed easily playing on normal mode on the first level. Maybe there was a case here where if I had moved faster, I wouldn't be fighting all of these people. But that's pretty much all the game is, so it'd be hard really to believe that that's the case. What was that giant number? That has to be a glitch. Come on. I've got to succeed here to kill at least one of the characters without dying. Yeah, again, barely succeeded. Like, the game just let me win there. And storyline-wise, I'm not sure where I'm really going. They're giving me more alcohol because they know I need my health at least at halfway. The only reason we are anywhere close to freeing half of the 50 people is because they've thrown a whole bunch of them in front of you.
You are a perfect match.
Who are you people? What do you want from me?
So this is the
I don't need anything from you.
orphanage.
But our president needs your heart.
So the orphanage lady, they kidnapped her, and I guess that's what we've been trying to save this whole time. It's kind of hard to remember. So yeah, they are harvesting organs, but specifically for the president, which that was a while ago that they showed us the cutscene of him having a bad heart. And that's pretty much just like the entire story, it seems, of the game, is that the president of the militia has a bad heart, and he's been kidnapping people, I guess, this whole time. I guess the goal here is going to be to kill people that can hurt you fairly easily. And just avoid damage as much as possible and get as many people in the fire trap as possible. But yeah, I think even using the fire traps a lot is probably a mistake, because you're really just then overemphasizing using the gimmick when you should just be more focused on this, just doing the standard counts. Or a combo slice up here. Although, in all fairness, the combo slice up doesn't really work particularly well either. And the gimmick here of it all being in silhouette just makes it worse. So you can either die over and over here, or you and get the achievement, or you just play the game normally. And I think the move is to just play the game normally. Having the guns, I think, will probably significantly improve my chances of victory. Although it doesn't really feel like it helps too much. Yeah. And this silhouette gimmick here has been done way too much now. They only did it 2 or 3 times, and that was way too often. Alright. We've got all kinds of organs. And we're back to the sexy nurses. Although there's like only one version of that, it really seems like they seem to all be same skin complexion, same white outfits. The other character has a staff and is in this kind of blue outfit. Like, and like, I don't know if she's supposed to be like a surgeon type lady. That would be my guess. Right. And yeah, this feels like a bit of a boss fight. Even though we really weren't introduced to this character, so it's probably a sub-boss. And then you just have a dead person in the background, which that makes me suspect it's probably the doctor, and that the orphanage lady probably taught Shank everything he knew. No, I guess not. Interesting that we're seeing the cutscene take place as the game is playing. And yeah, we really hadn't seen this level of puzzling before. They could have done this more often. So rolling out of the way doesn't even help you in that case.
Come on, come on. We have work to do. Get that cooler. Big month for kidneys. Ha. Weird. Last month it was lungs.
What do you do here?
Huh. Are you new? We sell the parts. Big business. Big business.
So yeah,
Does the
very
President
late
Magnus
in the
know about
game.
this?
Huh. It was his idea. In fact, I hear they have some lady in the next room who's a perfect match for his bad heart. Leader with a heart.
Now good. The cooler here. I'll need some assistance.
Doctor is the only name of him. Why not? Is Doctor in Spanish, or why not call him El Doctor or whatever it is? In the background, we see somebody drawn and quartered. Okay. Seems like we've got to dodge, and we probably have to do fast attacks. Well, they didn't do a bad job, I would say, of making the type of enemy you would expect at this level. Another body just hanging by a belt in the background there. There might be a female character in the background, but again, hard to tell. But yeah, you look at all this violence, you look at all this blood, and no problem with that at all. No problem with cutting out a heart in a living person to use for a bad guy. But dare suggest showing a nipple or a boob, and that'll get you an adult-only rating. Alright. Almost certainly I'm not going to succeed on this first try. He's got some special attack after halfway through the point, and so you wouldn't even have known about that special attack until the first time you died. When he hits the ground, you can hit him a few times, but your dodge roll is just not that good. And if you had a different choice of character, and Corinne, for instance, could dodge and roll twice as far, then that might be a nice variety that you could add to a beat-em-up game like this. But instead, you have no choice of character, and even if you did have a choice of character, I don't think Corinne as a character plays any differently. And then that cutscene, it's alright, but it's not particularly great. You really can't pounce, even on these other nurse characters. This is oddly the only time I think in the game where you actually have female characters and the male boss working together. There might have been a couple of other places where a female character and a male character was on screen at the same time, but you have to remember that the first 4 or 5 of these levels, there are just no female characters at all. And if that's something that they actively worked to fix and change in later levels, then why not go back and improve on that idea after the fact? Like, unless I'm supposed to use my shotgun a lot more, it really does just feel like it's a heck of a lot of dodging and a heck of a lot of slashing. And it may just be dying. That may literally be the only problem. And I guess you miss out on a grab if you just slice on him instead. And he'll come out of that stun. But maybe that opens you up towards another stun later. Yeah, I don't even know how you would avoid that attack. And it kind of doesn't matter to potentially avoid an attack and then take damage in the process of trying to dodge the attack. I would need a health upgrade at this point, and it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So, yeah. If you're going to have any chance at all, it might be just this, again, keeping them at bay, avoiding taking as much damage as possible, but failing kind of miserably on that aspect. If anything, it almost feels like you need to keep it in close to hit him, so he can't throw the knives at you. And again, I just cannot really take advantage of the dodge roll if that's really what the game is looking for, because my fingers are rapidly button mashing the X and Y and B buttons. I don't have an extra hand to potentially dodge roll out of the way. And if I'm focusing mostly on the main guy, I then end up just taking more damage. Let's see if I can burn him that way. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of damage, but not really enough. Am I possibly looking for a juggle? I don't think so. There probably are some points here when he is laughing where I should hit him more with the stronger attacks. So let's try a bit of a combo like that. That would make some sense. I wouldn't be surprised though that those cutscenes aren't fairly balanced out, so that if you do the grab, it brings you down to exactly half of his life. So it potentially will do less or more damage depending on the scenario. But yeah, you've got that special attack, and I don't think there's ever going to be a point where pounce is the right move. And now we are at like the 3rd level. It's been 45 minutes at this point. And we can try to do more Y attacks, but really it is going to probably be at the expense of just taking damage. Yeah, and he literally did that attack all the way across the screen. Yeah, and your pounce attack just doesn't work. So maybe it could help you dodge a attack doing it that way. It definitely feels like the game has decided to let me win at this point too. But maybe it will decide to stop letting me win. And even at that, I don't think if I'd thrown the Molotov that would have saved me. Ah, man. And this is the danger, certainly, is that we have one more level after this, and after that point, the game could throw yet another very difficult boss at me, and I would potentially spend 30 minutes just fighting the same guy over and over again, waiting for the game to decide to just let me win. It's not just standing in one place and shooting, because you'll definitely die from that. So whatever the gimmick here is, I am not seeing it. I'm trying to do as much damage as possible. Come on. Come on. Now I'm just going quiet because I really need to try and figure out a way to win here. machete maybe faster. Shotgun, knives, mines. Yeah, it almost certainly is a case that I just needed a faster slice here instead of the slower slice of the chainsaw. Although I don't know if the long blade for the big attack really speeds up the speed of the shanks in any real level. But yeah, undoubtedly it is. I needed a longer blade than he did and a faster blade than he has. If I can avoid getting killed here, either by the nurses or the doctor, then maybe I could do this. But my eyes are glazing over, frankly, on what I'm even looking at. Like, and there's not even like a reset button here, so you have a particularly bad setup like that where you're not likely to win anyways at the beginning. Like I've already taken too much damage to really recover from anything. The knives don't feel like they're useful. Yeah, charged knives or knives not really going to play a role. Alright, let's see if we can really just dodge roll here, even though I really don't think you can. Just see if perhaps the dodge roll ability is good enough. Alright, I've given up on the dodge roll. This, then probably, I mean, we'll try the shotgun. Almost certainly it is also the Molotov that's going to be of any use. Let's see, when he jumps back like that, when he jumps towards you like that, when he stands in one place, it's just like every move is an instantaneous attack where you really don't have enough of a breath, and the tutorials aren't helping really to say dodge. Like half the time when it says to dodge, I'm not even sure dodging really would have been the right move. it could be that the dodging prompts are happening when you should dodge, or it could be that they're happening just whenever you take a certain amount of damage. Yeah. You're not going to get the shotgun to really do a lot of damage. And see, yeah, in that instance, that first hit really didn't do that much damage. I probably do need to make some use of the dodge, not to actually pounce on anybody, but to just hit people and move faster. Alright. I feel like the game may have decided to potentially let me win here. It may be somewhat random. It may very well just be some luck. Alright. Let's go ahead and take that. I probably just would want to shotgun this guy to win. And so you have all these blades on a chain and slice them in half, and yeah, that's gory certainly, but couldn't really care about it.
I never meant to disappoint you.
What's funny is this character looks
all this.
very much similar to Archer's mother in the FX series. I wouldn't be surprised if the animation studio that made this did make Archer.
Take this so we can contact you.
That was an odd line of dialogue there. And the time being in red certainly does not feel good. 21 deaths that time, 50 minutes and 35 seconds. Yeah, not good. Definitely not good. I am very much unhappy with that. Overall, too, even though we did the kitchen sink achievement, finishing the story on normal is probably the only other achievement we'll finish in this game that will unlock anything. There's a small chance we'd get all the collectibles, but I think there's a decent chance that we've missed some also. And here's the anatomical images that we found. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of the opposite of fun, I have to say. We'll show in the next recording that yes, we could pick the skin of the main bad guy in the first game, it looks like, but that really wouldn't change anything unless it changes our loadout and our weapons completely. If it does change our loadout and weapons completely, then you have potentially a reason why you might want to play the campaign mode a couple of times, but if it's just the same old Shank weapons and the same old moveset, there's no reason to actually engage with that. And overall, we're just struggling with every single level. And I don't personally think I'm that bad of a player that I should be struggling on normal. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.